I've been chasing a world that never slows.
Well, after uploading my first two videos, I've received a heap of comments and questions about whether a foreigner can own property here in the Philippines. So to clear a few things up and explain some of the facts, I thought I'd make this quick video. Some people are even kind enough to comment that I am an idiot for dumping money into a property that, as a foreigner, I'm never going to be able to own. Well, number one, I'm fully aware of that, and number two, I'm really comfortable in my relationship and I am willing to take the risk. However, a lot of people are not sure about the ins and outs of property ownership in the Philippines, so I thought I would share what I've learned, the risks that I've decided to take, and there is a few different ways you can navigate property ownership here in the Philippines as a foreigner. So the hard and fast answer is no, but it's also kind of yes. It's written into the Constitution that a foreigner cannot own 100% of a piece of land. However, there are ways around it. The land title must be in the name of a Filipino citizen or a corporation which is 60% owned by Filipino citizens. So you're going to need a Filipino person that you can trust. I know we've all heard of horror stories of foreigners pouring heaps of money into a property. They register the title into the girlfriend or wife's name, and then they're left high, dry and homeless shortly after. I'm going to give you my brutal and honest advice, and while this might not be the case in every instance, it happens too often for me not to mention. Even if you are madly and deeply in love with a girl that you've just met at a bar, she's promised you to take care of you for the rest of your life, or maybe you've met a girl and you've paid for the funeral costs of her uncle who has died 3 times this year, I would save yourself the heartbreak and the financial pain and just go and buy a condo which you can put in your name, or decide to rent a property while you're staying here in the Philippines until you meet someone that you can trust. There are other ways that you could do this. You could lease land or put land into a corporation, and I'll discuss that in a moment. Your first option for property ownership here would be buying a condo. Now that can be fully in your name, 100% ownership by a foreigner, as you're just owning the part of the building, not the land. And the good thing about having a condo here is you could apply for a special retiree visa, or a SRRV, which will allow you to stay here indefinitely without having to pay monthly visa costs. Option 2 is slightly less common, and that is leasing land. You could agree to lease a plot of land for 50 years with a 25-year extension, and that would allow you to build. Now, as a foreigner, you can get a building permit to build on land, you just cannot own the physical land. Your third option is to set up a corporation to purchase the property. Now, as a foreigner, you can own up to 40% of the corporation, as long as the remaining 60% is owned by Filipino citizens. Now, it's really important to find Filipinos that you can trust. But outside of the corporation, you could have other agreements, like a nominee agreement or a special power of attorney, which would give you the rights to make decisions about how the property is used and sold. I have heard that if it was contested in court, it is usually the Filipino side that they will favour with. So proceed with caution. At the end of the day, if you are building or buying a property here in the Philippines as a foreigner, you need to first understand your risks and what your options are. Let's just quickly recap on a few things that were discussed. Now, if you are married, remember that your name will go on the title, but it's just purely recognition that you are married, not that you own the land. So if you do get an annulment, remember annulment means that you were never married in the first place. That will disappear, but the title with your wife's name will remain. So you'll be shit out of luck, I guess. If you're setting up a corporation to buy your property, make sure you number one, get a good lawyer, and number two, find Filipino people that you can trust. If you decide to lease land here, make sure that the person that is leasing it to you definitely owns the property. There's many instances here in the Philippines where someone claims to own the property, but it's actually owned by 100 relatives, so you could find yourself in a bit of a pickle. Make sure your lawyer checks that the title does belong to the person and that the lease agreement is rock solid. If you really want to build your dream home here in the Philippines, it is definitely possible. I think you just got to be a little bit cautious and make sure you can trust the people who are going to be on the title of your property. Now, if you found this video even slightly helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you give it a like and subscribe if you want to keep up to date with the house build. Next video will be breaking down how much everything costs and how we managed to build our dream home with a pool for less than $55,000, which a lot of people have found a little bit unbelievable. But I'm not shitting it, it is true. We'll break down everything, we'll show you the contract, everything you need to see to believe that we are building our dream home for less than $55,000. So take care, and we'll see you on the next video.
I've been chasing a world that never slows.